It's interesting because I gave up singing twice, for someone else. I had to give up singing to make money. And the singing at the time wasn't, it was a great career, but it wasn't making a lot of money. So to actually sort of support what was happening in my life, I had to give it up and then go back to work. And not to say the singing wasn't work, I was working a lot. um, but the energy release, the joy that you have when you sing, the communication through sound and the communication through the words, the lyrics, and it's performing. And I love obviously performing in all different forms, whether it's in a talk, whether it's on TV, whether it's on a stage. I feel like it's such a big expression of who I am. And going back to doing a bit of singing, I've been writing with Gary Pinto, who is just incredible, and wrote that song for the movie that you heard. It made me realize what I intentionally gave up for something else. And I think going back to that, it just reignites parts of you that you let go, and parts of me that I let go in the yoga because it didn't fit with what was going on. I gave up the singing because it didn't fit what else was going on. So it really comes down to rediscovering what made me happy and why I did those things in the past, and I brought them back into now.
Tell me about, you said that you were puffy and
Yeah.
that your schedule was crazy. What did you do in terms of sleep and your schedule um, and food?
I had a real big forced stop because we were selling houses. We had stopped for a while. Um, I, I went on a full anti-inflammatory diet to try, and I had high grade inflammation, which I still do, which causes a lot of allergies. So, I can't have dairy, and I can't have tomatoes, and there's a lot of sort of skin things come with it, stomach upsets, gut inflammation. And it's long term, like it's taking a long time. Like I was working on that for like 5 years ago because things were starting to happen. But when I had a crash, that was about 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago. So I went back to nothing. Like my diet, everyone was going, oh, I don't know how you can survive. But for me, it was everything that I had to do. So I had to go back to basics. Don't eat meat, but I had to have chicken bone broth, and it's quite tasteless actually. So that was fine. It's not something that you can do for a couple of weeks. Like it's years. So if you have those issues, it's a long-term process.
For, women who are in their 50s and think, my best years are behind me. No, what would you say to that?
No, I'd say the opposite. Look, it's a mindset. I've always, it was funny. I'm going to be very real about this. I've said it like in I think in one of my books about resetting yourself, in that when I was 39, it was very real. My career had hit a real dark place in the fact I wasn't doing what I loved. I'd given up my singing. I was working in interiors, but I was in a shop, and the people were amazing. The shop was amazing. It wasn't me. I wasn't that person. And all of a sudden I was dressing differently and I was acting differently. So at 39, I literally thought my life was over. I thought my life was over. And I think I went through about 6 months where I was just fearful of like, I haven't come what I came to do. I haven't come what I came to do. And that was once I hit 40, my life was over. And I'm not joking. I was laying in bed. I had my birthday. It was the next day. And I got up and I went, God, I'm a dickhead. Not one thing has changed. Like there was no smack on their head. There was no this. It's me stopping me making something happen.
Do you have Botox? Do you have, any laser treatments? There's a lot of awesome anti-aging stuff.
No, I've never had Botox, but I was looking at what I was looking like on Celebrity Apprentice going, oh God, I think I need to do something. But I ended up being really bad lighting. We'll put it down to that. Definitely have laser treatments. I've had a few different, I don't even know the names of them. I'll have to find out. One was Pico. There was a horrible one years and years ago that it was a laser treatment, and your face just blew up for 3 days. It was awful.
Do you think that we gain confidence at different stages or ages? Do you think it's an age, or do you think it's a life event that kind of opens the door to the, no, this is me?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I mean, there's people in their 50s that still haven't got it. Like, you just think, have you twigged? Have you twigged? Like, come on, you're 50, don't leave it so much longer. And there's people in their 20s that they just, my God, you got it. I know people 20 years older than you that just haven't got it. So there's that part of events or things that have happened to them that's made something trigger. But then there's also definitely the decades, there's different things. I remember in my 20s, I was at, I had a career, I had 2 kids, I had a mortgage, and I was 27. And, my auntie just kept going, you know what? You're not going to come into your own until you're 30. And I kept going, I freaking hope so, because my 20s are exhausting. But it was true. So I waited for 30. And I remember seeing the same thing in my daughter. And there's something that clicks about what you accept and what you won't accept. And in your 20s, you're trying to get things quick, you're trying to prove yourself, and then I feel like you slow down a little bit in your 30s, and your mental of like, you know what, that doesn't matter anymore. You do find out what's important to you, and that comes with age and wisdom of what you've already been through.
So, in the concept of ageless, have you seen any kind of, is abuse and is violence, across all ages? Do women experience it from youth? Is it transgenerational, or can someone suddenly find themselves blindsided by an abusive relationship that they suddenly find themselves
Yeah.
in?
It is genderless. It is, so much about it is any form of violence, which is verbal, which is mental, which is financial, as well as physical. We tend to think it's only physical. It can happen to you as a child. It can happen to you in your first relationship. It can happen in your third or fourth relationship. It could happen in your 60s in a new relationship, or you've had this great relationship and then all of a sudden it changes. Just because you didn't grow up with it or you didn't experience it first off doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you. And the big thing is also is that no one goes into a relationship going, oh, it's an abusive one, I'm going to see how I get through this. It starts off most of the times pretty amazing. You fall in love, or there's something about this person that is a little bit injured, and you're powerful, you've got the tools. I'm going to help you. Come on, come along with me. I'll show you how to make your life better. I'll get you the best version of you out there. And then it sort of gets beyond coercive, and then it flips, and then the mental games all of a sudden change that you don't realize you're in an abusive relationship. So there's so many things. And I think that's the hardest thing, is the shame that comes with it, because it happens so slowly that it's very hard to go, I've talked about this person that I love all the time, but this person's harming me. How can I tell anyone that? How can I tell anyone that's happening to me? And so that's finding out, what are the tools that you need to actually deal with that person? What are the tools that you need to tell people? And what are the tools you need to either work together and change it? Because some can work and change, because sometimes the abuse is from situational things that are happening. And then it's a case of, if it really isn't working, how do you get out? How do you get out safely? So I think it's not this one story fits all. There are so many different parts to it.
What are the few things, the little tricks and hacks that instantly transform you, that that if you're having a bad week, a bad month, a bad day, if you add these little secret ingredients, so it might be a great lipstick, it might be a go-to outfit, it might be a supplement, whatever. What are the things that you can add to your day that you would recommend through your own experience that can actually re-energize you, give you vitality, bring back that, joie de vivre that we're looking for, that's ageless?
I've been sipping it the whole time. I would say get green tea in your life. Get rid of the coffee. You know, there is, you know, a bit of caffeine in green tea, but I haven't drunk coffee for 25 years, something like that. It didn't work for me. I don't need that stimulation because I run on adrenaline, hence adrenal fatigue. But green tea has got so many good qualities for your skin, your vitality, for your center. I really look at getting onto some great teas, you know, look at ones that don't have caffeine in it. Look at dandelion tea because it's a diuretic. Look at chamomile tea for relaxation. Look at rooibos tea, which is a
I
beautiful
love rhubarb.
Rooibos is beautiful,
Yeah.
but there's no caffeine in that as well. And it's a nice winter one. It sort of warms you. So look at all those different teas to me, that's my go-to. That's my comfort. Definitely the shots of raw ginger, turmeric, black pepper, and lemon. If you've got high-grade inflammation, I swear by it, you have to do it every day for a year. Don't, you know, don't do it for a couple of days and think you're going to get miracles. I went back to collagen powder. So putting collagen powder in my smoothie. And I also have collagen powder as I heat up coconut milk at night and I put collagen powder in it. And I found a caramel one, which is so tasty, no sugar in it.